everybody, Layo here. Welcome to another episode of Beyond Beauty, the real talk on beauty business. Today, we're going to be talking about hiring and retaining your staff. If you run a beauty business here in Nigeria, you know it's one thing to find the staff, hire them, and then retain them. And in our previous episode, Samuel and I touched on this very briefly, but today I want to dive into it deeper. We're going to talk about how to build a work culture that lasts, how to actually find staff, hire them, retain them. And today, here with me in the studio to give us the nitty gritty and dive into this deeper is Dupe. Hi, Dupe.
Hi, Layo. Thanks for having me
Of course,
here.
thanks for being here. So, Dupe is the founder of Tasala, but I wanted to actually just talk to us about what you do and who you are.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Dupe Talabi. I'm the founder of Tasala Hair and Beauty. It's a hair care salon, and Tasala in general is a full hair care brand. So we have the salon aspect. We also have a hair care products range, which is called Truth by Tasala, and we have a training academy, which is called Tasala Hair Academy. So we try to create a whole ecosystem for the hair care industry, from training to products to services. We've been in business 10 years this year. And it's been quite an interesting journey so far.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So 10 years, you know that Dupe is coming with knowledge and receipts. So let's dive into this.
Mhm.
Why do you think retaining staff, especially in the beauty industry, is a hard thing or it's a problem? Because I hear from people, and you also have experience where you hire somebody, they don't stay with you for more than a few months, and then they go. Why do you think that's a recurring problem that we have in the industry?
I think generally a lot of people see the beauty industry, not even just hairdressing, just the beauty industry in general, as quite informal.
Mm.
So the hiring processes, there's not proper structure put in a lot of times. A lot of people just bring people in because they need someone who can do the physical work very quickly.
Mm.
And sometimes as well, the business does not have a proper hiring process
Okay.
to vet the people they're bringing in and a proper structure for retaining them and for career progression as well.
Okay,
So
so
I
just
think.
high level, what would you like how have you done it such that at Tasala retention is high? Because I know it's high,
Mhm.
right? So just give us like one or two tips that you've implemented that has, improved your retention over the last 10 years. And 10 years is a big deal.
Yeah, it is a
It
big
is.
deal. Even have to tell myself that,
It
wow, it is a
is. High
big deal.
five.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we have staff that have been with us right from the beginning. I have staff that have been with me 10 years, 9 years, 8 years. I think the shortest term so far of staff that we have is probably about 3 years, 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So for us, one thing I've tried to do is not just think about hiring, but think about building a company culture.
Mm.
And I try to enforce that from the beginning. I do give my staff a lot of leeway, and I try to create an environment in which they feel they're a part of the business, they have opportunity to grow, they have opportunity to learn, and importantly, they get to become really good friends with each other as well. So they
Nice.
build bonds with each other. So we really, really hammer on about the aspect of teamwork and
Mm.
supporting each other and just knowing that you're part of a business. It's not about me, it's not about one individual person, it's about us as a team and as
Mm.
a business. And whatever progress we make, we're all making it together.
I really, really like that. So
Mm.
culture, there's also, like you said, room for them to grow. So they see that there's a clear career
Mm-hmm.
progression, right?
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me just very briefly about your company culture, right? So what's maybe one thing that really, really stands out for you
Mm-hmm.
that is super important when you're hiring people or when you're trying to motivate your staff to keep going?
Okay. So when I started with just two stylists. One started with me even before she was my assistant, even before I opened the salon. The other was a trained stylist. He was an experienced stylist. And I found that hiring someone who came with previous experience, had so much so much baggage I was dealing with him. I found he was going behind my back with clients, selling products to clients behind my back, things that we sold in salon. He had a lot of attitude. He wasn't open to correction. So I let him go. I hired somebody else, and it was like a recurring thing. So and whereas the person that started with me as a trainee, I trained her, she knew my way, she knew what we wanted, and she carried on doing the job excellently.
Yeah.
And so I decided, okay, I'll take a different approach. So I started hiring students out of hairdressing school or people that just had a passion to learn, and then training them from scratch. So
Yeah.
they were coming with no knowledge, but they had a desire to
Yeah.
learn.
Yeah.
So I figured that worked out better for
Mhm.
me for us as a business. And then also I started looking at, I wasn't so focused on skill, because I realized that, you know what, if you're interested and you have the right attitude, I can teach you skill,
Yeah.
but I cannot teach you how to be a better person. I cannot teach you how to be friendly or how
Yeah.
to, not have an attitude or how to be respectful.
Yeah.
So I focused more on your personal traits
Mhm.
as opposed to the skills aspect, because I thought, you know what, come in if you have the right and you're willing to learn and you're a hard worker, we'll train you and you'll go from there.
That's amazing. The reason why I'm smiling is because it's very, very similar to what Samuel said. Samuel said the exact same thing about
Mm.
how he doesn't he has a preference to hire people that are an open slate or new
Mhm.
slate,
Mhm.
because the same thing too, when you hire with people that have some experience, they come with, their baggage, or come with their own ways of doing work that may not gel with your own
Mhm.
ways of doing work. And what I asked him, I'm going to ask you too. So everybody always says that you need experience to work,
Mhm.
but both of you are saying, actually, no,
Mhm.
right? We want to hire for attitude, someone that is teachable, someone that's moldable, someone that's open, hungry, and willing to
Mhm.
learn.
Mhm.
So those that have experience, Uncle.
Well, so now, thankfully, I'm at the position now that we've been able to build a brand, and we do have people that have experience that want to work with our brand, or they
Mm-hmm.
want to build with our brand, or they've seen what we've done over the years
Mm-hmm.
and they want to come in. So now I'm open to hiring people with experience. But if you come in, regardless of what level you come in, there's a basic onboarding
Okay.
and trial period you
Mm.
have to go through.
Okay.
And during that time, we assess how well of a fit
You
you are with
are.
the business and how open you are to learning.
Okay.
And the thing is, when we started, a lot of our clients wanted healthy hair care, wanted the service aspect had to be done a certain way. We focused on hair, a lot of clients that had natural hair as well. And I found that bringing in people that had experience, they were not used to that. They wanted to work quickly. They just wanted to use heat on hair or, chemical processes on hair. So they did not get what we're trying to do. But I think that's evolved over the years,
Yeah.
and people are more aware about, okay, it's possible to do this in this way, to do business in this way, to do hair in this way.
Yeah.
And they're open to learning. And I find even people that did not have that experience are now coming and saying, we want to work with you because we want to learn
Mm-hmm.
this way. And they found that it's impacted their knowledge,
Okay.
in a positive way.
Okay.
So yeah, there's room for people that have experience,
Experience.
but again, you have to have the right attitude and the right
Yeah.
personality. Yeah.
Okay. I like that because what I'm hearing is that obviously, well, so it starts with you as a business owner,
Mm-hmm.
right? You have to have your processes in place, because even if you're going to hire someone that has experience or not, you need to ensure that when they come into your system,
Mm,
there is, I guess, standard, right? So
definitely.
okay, it's going to be a 2 week trial period, or it's a month. Week one is this, week two is that, week four is
Mm-hmm.
this, and by the end of week four, we'll assess, okay, is this person a good
Mm-hmm.
fit for us or not?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have markers that you're looking at to say, okay,
Definitely.
this person probably won't work out. So you know what, this is actually a good person. So
Mm-hmm.
now tell me about a time when someone passed the interview, they passed the onboarding, they were great,
Mm-hmm.
but then
Oh, I've even had that recently.
but then because you can people interview really
Well.
well.
Mm-hmm.
They have to
Mm-hmm.
put on a good face, a good
Mm-hmm.
front,
Mm-hmm.
and then like
Mm-hmm.
eventually in a few months you're like,
Yeah.
wrong choice. Like
Mm-hmm.
how do you deal with that? Or tell me when that's happened and
Yeah,
how you
I've,
deal
I've
dealt
I've
with
I've
that.
had that, several times, and this is where it's important to have like we have a probation period,
Okay.
and during that period we assess what you're like really. I've had so there's two situations for me, because there's the stylist aspect where we assess them based on, okay, what are the basic things you can do? Let's look at how you handle hair and how you, if you can braid and everything, and then we can assess what level we are going to place you at and then
Mm-hmm.
train you from there. And so that helps us to filter out who is actually ready to learn and where we can place them or
Mm-hmm.
not. The admin part of our business, like our front of desk, customer service, HR, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, is a different process, because those are the ones that usually interview really well. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they present well, they look the part, they speak well, and they can answer your questions, perfectly well. But then they come on board and then things change. I had very recently a staff like that. Fantastic interview. I thought, yes, I can see you fitting in. I can see I was already dreaming about the progression she was going to make. I could see, okay, in 6 months, this is what we're going to do
Yeah.
with you in a year. But she came in, and a lot of my staff, we have staff quarters.
Mm-hmm.
So, they stay there. She was staying there as well. And she just became very disruptive.
Hmm.
In staff quarters, we do set rules and regulations. She was going out all night, coming home or coming back at all hours of the night, intoxicated and different things. So obviously it impacted the other staff
Yeah.
negatively.
Yeah.
And then even at work, giving attitude to clients, and just almost being very divisive in forming camps, you know,
Hmm.
gossiping about other people,
People.
planting seeds in people's minds. And I just thought, oh my goodness, like, and she was very clever. So when she's talking to me, she doesn't present like
Like
that.
that.
But behind the scenes, she was doing those things,
Yeah.
and people were picking it up all the time,
Yeah.
to the point that a couple of customers
Oh
complained.
wow.
Yeah. So I thought, you know what, this is not going to work. So situations like that will happen. So it's important I always get feedback from the team as well. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not just about me, it's about how she's relating with everyone as a team,
Mm-hmm.
how she's relating with clients and things like that. So it's important to be in tune with your staff as well, so you can hear what's happening.
Was that an easy decision for you to make? Because you said she was clever, meaning that she probably was doing her job
Mhm.
well,
Mhm.
but then culturally she just wasn't a good fit.
Mhm.
Right. And I know that personally as well, like there have been times when I'm like, okay, this person is really doing a great job, but
Mm.
then ugh, when you look at the other part of the business, maybe not so much. And I know some people actually struggle with making the
Mm.
decision to, okay, say we're gonna let you go because you're
Mhm.
like, but you are actually doing the job. So like, how how did you or how would you advise somebody to I guess navigate when they have to make that type of decision where somebody's been divisive on the team,
Mhm.
but they're actually pulling their weight.
Mhm. So for me, I will give you the opportunity, because I did talk to her a couple of times. We had
Okay.
meetings
Okay.
about it, and I said, this is what has been brought to attention.
Mm-hmm.
And one on one meetings and also group meetings with some of the key members of staff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a case of, it's not an attack, but let's talk.
Yeah.
In case you're not aware that this is how you're presenting
Mm-hmm.
and this is how you're being perceived,
Mm-hmm.
this is what feedback
Looks like.
looks like.
Yeah.
And it's up to you to now be self aware and decide that, oh, okay, I didn't realize and I can make a change.
Yeah.
But when you're like defensive and like, oh, no, 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 I don't do that, and
Mm-hmm.
you clearly are not willing to make a change, then for me, I will, I would rather cut that, no matter how great you are.
Yeah.
Always say that I don't care how great you are at your job.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have the right personality and you cannot be a team player,
Yeah.
it's not going to work,
Yeah.
because naturally other people are going to start feeling like you're getting preferential treatment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially people who are doing just as good as a job as you,
Mm-hmm.
and even people that have been there much longer as well.
Mm-hmm.
They start feeling like, why does this person get to get away with this? And
Yeah.
then it impacts other people and they can start doing it as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I would
Yeah.
just rather not keep that sort of
Yeah.
a person.
Yeah. I was gonna say that as well because what tends to happen in those types of situations is that that bad egg starts to
Mm-hmm.
then like infect the other
Definitely.
people, and everyone thinks, oh, so this is actually okay behavior, then
Exactly.
yes, we're going to do that. And then it just gets out of hand,
Yeah.
and before you know it, the entire team is just not
Mm.
performing high anymore. The
Mhm.
culture is then like
Mhm.
changed, right?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
speaking of culture, I personally feel like the fish rots from the head,
Mhm.
right? I feel like when we look at companies, the company culture, like there's a direct line between the company, or you can draw a direct line from the company culture to the founder's behavior or
Mhm.
character,
Mhm.
right? So like when people are thinking about, okay, yeah, I need to like craft my company culture, how and there's no one way to like
Mm.
do it, right? How have you done it such that one, you're true to who you are, two, the culture actually is something that people want to be a part of?
Mm. So as you said, there's not one way to do it, but my way has been I knew what I wanted to do in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
And, I knew how to tell the story of what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And also, my personality generally is pretty laid back.
Very laid
I'm
back.
not a shouter. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm pretty chilled.
And that's actually how
So,
the salon is too, actually. Like you can
mm,
feel that vibe when you go into Tasala. It's very chill.
yeah.
People are warm and they're
Mm-hmm.
friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and one thing I always tell my staff is because sometimes you do get people that they're great, they do want to learn, they do want to be better. But I always say you have people that come from different
Mm.
backgrounds, different, ways of life. They have different understandings. Some have had to live in a way where they've had to fight for everything,
Mm-hmm.
or different cultures. You have cultural clashes. Someone says something a certain way, someone else perceives it a certain way. And one thing, we've had fights, we've had
Of
physical
course.
fights. Yeah. So one thing I always try to emphasize to them is, treat people how you want to be treated.
Mm.
And you have to be respectful of everybody else, regardless of what position they hold in the salon. And generally, I don't shout at my staff. If anything, I always just see it as everybody's an adult.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't like to be a dictator.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather sit you down. I'll explain what it is I want to see from you, what it is that you're doing,
Yeah.
and how you can get better, and the reason why you should get better, and what you can get from
Being
being
better.
better.
Yeah.
So we have that conversations a lot. And I find that, especially in this industry, a lot of people that we end up employing are young
Yeah.
females.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you almost have to take on a position of a mentor,
Mm-hmm.
and just guide them through. They're going through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're coming from different parts of
Mm-hmm.
the world, of the
The country.
states, of,
Yeah.
of the country, and different things like that. So you have to lead with empathy and be able to listen. And sometimes it's relationship issues, children issues, parent issues. So I try to have a situation where we constantly talk, not just me now because my team is so large,
Mm-hmm.
but I have key people, managers, and things like that do periodic checks.
Mm-hmm.
We do appraisals, not just for the job, but even for
Just to
you
check in how
as
you're
a
doing.
person.
Yeah.
If you have struggles, we have system in place that
Yeah.
you're struggling to pay, your children's school fees,
Mm-hmm.
your rent. We have a loan system in place that can support
Nice.
them, yeah, with guarantors and things like that. So we
Yes.
can, we can hold you accountable. But it's just being supportive
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I always emphasize the same way that's been done for you. You have to do it for those
Yeah.
coming after you as well.
Yeah.
So you have to pass it on. And I enforce even the senior stylists when we have new team members, they have to take on that role of leadership. You must have two, three stylists that you are essentially coaching or mentoring. And you have to, sometimes I'll sit in on
Yeah.
their sessions so that you understand how to talk and how to ask questions and also how to give feedback
Yeah.
in the positive way.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't seem like you're just dogging on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just find it's a lot of character building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people need that
Mm-hmm.
and they value that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that, especially the part about like relationship building. I
Mm.
think a lot of times, even I used to struggle with this before, not anymore. It's like, okay, I'm at work, is
Mm.
work, we're
Mhm.
working. Why should I have to be asking you about your mom or your dad or
Mm.
your sister or your
Mhm.
brother,
Mhm.
right? But then when you think about it, as human beings, we're not just people at work. We're
Mhm.
full people,
Mhm.
right? And work, your life outside affects
It will
actually how you
impact, of
work,
course.
right? And it was one of my managers at my previous company in Brazil that said that to me. He's like, you need to ask people how they're doing.
Mhm.
That even if you don't care,
Mhm.
ask them and
Mhm.
actually listen,
Mhm.
right? And ask follow-up questions. That it
Mhm.
shows that you have an interest
Mhm.
in their life.
Mhm.
And when I started doing that, like honestly, like it changed a lot, right? And people open up to you. People think, oh, Layo cares about me. And then,
Exactly.
they're more willing to stay back 30
Mm.
minutes or an hour
Mhm.
or work
Mhm.
on the weekend because, well,
Mhm.
Layo cares and Layo understands that this is happening or that's happening, right? And I think, yeah, so I really like that you say that. And, there seems to be an emphasis on that at Tasala, and
Mhm.
even not just with you, but like with your staff. And,
Mhm.
you have a buddy system where senior stylists are training the junior ones.
Mhm.
And then when the junior ones become senior ones too, and there's
They
more
have to
people,
pass it on.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I really like that.
Mhm.
Okay, so one or two more questions before we wrap up. Speak to me or share with us rather,
Mhm.
how you've gone about retaining staff, right? Because 10 years, having people who have stayed with you for 10 years is not a joke and it's not easy,
Mm.
right? So what are some strategies that you've implemented?
Mm. So for me, some of the things that I've done is, a lot of people, as I said earlier, look at the beauty industry as very informal. We don't always have structure in place. We don't always have systems, especially for remuneration for
Mm-hmm.
staff in place. But one key thing that came to my awareness, and I feel like it changed my business, is operating my business not just as a beauty business but as a corporate business.
Okay.
So we look at um very clear progression paths for
Mm-hmm.
staff once they start from the onboarding session. We already pre-assess them during the interviews and trial periods, and we know what level they're going to be placed at. So for every level of the business, there's a salary band. So
Wow.
automatically you know what the salary expectation is for
Okay.
that level. And as you progress, it moves through the bands.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. Another thing was making sure that we paid salaries on time. We never owe salaries because that is such a thing for staff,
Yeah.
and we do have bonus systems in place
Okay.
depending on, their performances. And then other additional things like having HMO, having pension.
You pay pension.
We do.
Oh wow. Can you come and hire me?
Yes. So I found that, in this industry, it's not common,
It's not.
but that's another thing that actually tie people to your business
Yeah.
because they think about what is already being invested into their
Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
The fact that there's HMO, if they fall sick, they can go to hospital without
Yeah.
having to pay out
The
of pocket,
pocket. Yeah.
things like that. And again, as I said, there's progression paths depending on the bands,
Mhm.
and also depending on the longevity of you being in the business,
Mhm.
there's additional um, benefits that are added from the salaries as well. So
Yeah.
every year, in fact, I was going to say every year there's salary review, but in the last couple of years, it's been more than once or twice a year because
Wow.
of the way things have just spiraled
Yeah.
with the economy,
Economy. Yeah.
from fuel prices, obviously impacting transports to
Yeah.
food and things like
Yeah.
that. Another thing that I started doing when transport just went out, started going crazy, is we pay transport allowance to staff. So, and this again ties them to, because they get their salary and then they get transport allowance separately, but you have to come to work on time. If not, you don't get
You don't
it.
get it.
If you're absent, it goes down.
Oh
So
wow.
it's based on attendance
I like
and
it. So it's
punctuality.
basically
It's
incentivized.
incentivized,
Nice.
definitely.
Nice.
Yeah. So you have to be on top performance to collect the whole thing. So things like that, it adds value to them staying in the business.
Mhm.
And again, a progression path career wise. So you can start, I've had people that have started in our business as cleaners and have moved up the ranks to becoming top stylists.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And I had one in particular. She started as this was like right at the beginning of the business. She came in as a cleaner. She was really good. She was really, really good. She was always the first in the salon. She cleaned really well, but she was also very helpful on the salon floor and taking interest in everything. She didn't know how to do hair really, but she took so much interest. We started training her, and she got to the point that by the time she ended up leaving to travel abroad, but by the time she was leaving, we had clients that they would not allow anybody else to do their hair if it wasn't her. Yeah, so and that I always use as an example to other people that come in.
Yeah.
And when they come in, a lot of times as the part of the cleaning team, I make them know, you know what, there's opportunity. So we will train you in hair because hair is a skill and it will benefit you wherever you go. So you don't have to stay on that level. Or if there's other skills that you have that we can use in the business, I had a staff that was part of the cleaning team again, but she sews. For a period of time, she was sewing our uniforms, making our capes and aprons in the salons. So that was extra income for her, and it was just, something to keep her going as well. She ended up going to fashion school and then leaving to start her own business.
Nice.
Yeah. So just showing them that there's growth, opportunity for growth. I've also had my current general manager started as a trainee, and she's moved up the rank through stylist, senior stylist, manager, and she's now the general manager for the salon. So she's grown in it. She's been with us 9 years now. She's grown in the business. So it's just showing opportunity that you can move further. And we do a lot of training in-house, but I also tie my training to longevity in the business.
Okay.
So we start to invest in them as well. We send them for external trainings. We partner with product companies that offer skills training as well. So yeah, and we just keep going from there to see how well we can give them enough to keep them going.
Okay, so now speaking about training, do you how do you I don't want to say lock them in, but like so they have to have been with you for a period of time. I mean, I think that's pretty standard anywhere, right? It's for you to invest in them. And then do you have any contracts in place after you train them or before you train them?
So there is something in the contract, in the general contract, that does state that obviously when they're leaving, if they're leaving, and this is something that we had it in the beginning, but to be honest, I don't have it in anymore. There used to be a thing about when they're leaving, they can't work within a certain radius, or if they've gone on training, blah, blah, they have to stay a certain amount of time. But in this industry, I don't particularly harp on that, and I don't really enforce it, to be honest. For us, when I have staff come in, there's a basic training that they have to take. And then we have a lot of internal training as well. So I feel like I leverage off a lot of peer-to-peer training. As I said earlier, we have senior stylists that will train the juniors, admin team that will teach them customer service, how to talk to clients, presentation. Sometimes I'll come in as well to talk to them about how to do consultations and things like that. What I've done recently is to even start making that standardized. So we've broken it down into modules. So at the end of each module that they have to complete, they get a certificate for it. Yeah, so it's internal, but it's something that they really appreciate, and they can have it on record, because I found that people that have done training with us and gotten certificates from us, it's actually respected in the industry. So I thought, okay, you know what, since you've been working and you've been working for so long, you can get that internally as well. For those that we start to send on external training, it's based on length of time of service. And so you move up in bands. The quality of the investments, the level of training will depend on how many years you've been in the business. So in a way, to me, I feel like you've earned it to that extent. So I don't really I think by the time I'm sending people to training, I feel they deserve it, and I don't I don't lock them in officially, like with a contract. One thing that I found is naturally when people get trained, they do want to stay and they want to continue. And I feel like naturally, if they would have stayed for the 2 years anyway after training, when there's now a official contract in place that you have to stay for 2 years, they start to get a bit antsy. And that's when they feel like they're being restricted.
They're being trapped.
Yeah, or they're being trapped. Whereas without the contract, they were going to stay regardless. Yeah. So, and I always say, I have an open door policy. You can come in and talk to me if there's any issues, but at the same time, don't feel like you're tied
Yeah.
to this business. So, if tomorrow you decide you want to leave, just do it the right way. Give the proper notice, leave in the right way. And then
Yeah.
it's the beauty business is pretty small,
Yeah.
especially in Nigeria.
Yes.
So, I always
It's
say, don't
tiny.
burn your bridges
Yeah.
and just do things properly.
One last question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of the biggest, well, one of the biggest things that I hear beauty business owners talk about or complain about is, okay, I've hired this person, they've come, they're great, and they're leaving me. And, it almost seems personal,
Mm,
almost. How would you advise people to, I guess, navigate that or think through that, right? Um, you know, because typically what tends to happen is that the previous employee or staff goes on to go and do their own
mm-hmm.
business, whether it's a hair salon or a nail salon or whatever it is,
Mm,
right? Which sometimes makes the business owner feel like, "Ugh, that just wastes
mm,
my money. You used me to
mm.
train yourself, blah blah blah." It's like, what's a what's a better way to think about that or to like navigate that?
So for me, what I think about is, first of all, when the person was working, did they make you money?
Mm,
So yeah, you might have invested in them, but they made you money as well.
mm,
For me, one of the reasons I'm able to do what I do and why I have the freedom that I do to a certain extent is because I've been able to build a team
mhm,
that can operate without me. So it's their time, it's their skill, their effort as well. Yes, I provide the platform, I provide the environment for them, but they're working as well. And
mm,
in every industry, you're going to have people that are going to come and go no matter what. It's a job.
mhm,
People are working to earn money.
mhm,
You
mhm,
can't tie them to the job forever. And I understand because in the beauty industry, yes, we do get personal,
mhm.
with our staff, and it's building relationships. And also, the staff build relationships with your clients as
Yes.
well. So you feel like,
And the
it's,
staff might take your clients too.
well, to a certain degree,
Mhm,
but that's why your business needs to have proper structure
mm,
because a lot of clients don't necessarily come just for the services or for the stylist. They come for the environment, they come for, the quality of products, the quality of, how they're communicated with, and they can almost guarantee what they're going to get when they come to you. There's a certain sense of reliability
yeah.
when they come to you. So it's important to communicate the value that your business is offering. I don't tie my staff to any particular clients. Yes, clients can request certain staff, but none of my staff own any clients.
Clients.
My staff are not required to bring clients into the salon. Their
Okay.
salary is not based on them bringing clients to the salon.
Yeah.
So I always emphasize that every client that comes in is a Tasala client.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I always encourage even the clients as well.
To try
Have
out
one
the
or
hair
two
stuff.
people that will do your hair. So if they're not specifically requesting a specific stylist, we give
Rotate
them to
them.
other people, we rotate them, and then sometimes they even try other people and they prefer it, so they
Mm-hmm.
can alternate and they can try the different branches. I try to keep a uniform level of service
Yeah.
at both branches.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unfortunate, but in every industry, I've had jobs in the past that I've left. Everybody has worked in somewhere that they've
Yeah.
left. Yeah, so you have to understand that you're running a business and quote unquote a corporation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so have system in place to recruit, to pay them well. And when but what I just emphasize to the team is always try to leave on the right note so you can get a referral.
Yeah.
Don't just up and leave in a rude way or without notice
Yeah.
because it impacts you or
Mm-hmm.
it can impact you further down the line.
Yeah.
And yes, you may be able to want to start your own business. I've had stylists that have left to start their own business and they can reach out to me when they need help or
Okay.
I can refer clients to
To
them
them.
based
Okay.
on the location. I
Okay.
have a stylist that she left she had to move to Ogun State
Yeah.
because she got married.
Yeah.
When people ask me, oh, they're in certain locations, she does bridal hair as well, I'll refer them to her
Nice.
because so it's important to just build relationships again.
Yeah.
And you as well, when the stylist wants to leave or your staff wants to leave, it's important to be nice to them about it. Don't make them feel bad
Mm.
about it because it's also a training tool for them to know how to run their business and how to recruit and release people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is what it is. People
Yeah.
come and go.
Yeah. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. And what you said, the last part kind of, touches a bit on what Samuel said as well.
Mm.
What Samuel said was, when people leave your business, basically, and you've trained them well,
Mm-hmm.
you are replicating yourself in
Mm-hmm.
other places, right?
Exactly.
So like the lady who worked with you, who's
Mm.
now in Ogun State, because she's worked with you,
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain level of quality that she's
That
going to
she's going
do
to
with her
offer.
work. And then
Definitely.
you even referring other people to her, they
Mm-hmm.
know that, okay, if Dukba is referring her, that means
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be great work,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that.
Yeah. And when we have staff parties, you'll be surprised a lot of our old
Staff
staff
come.
come to our staff
Nice.
parties. They still maintain friendships with people that are still in our workforce and
Yeah.
things like that. So I just think life is there's too many things you're
That
dealing
is very
with to be,
dynamic.
yes. And the same way they might need my help, I may
You
need
need
their
their
help
help.
as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
This is very, very insightful conversation.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
making out the time to
No
talk
worries
to
at
us.
all.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Beyond Beauty, the real talk on beauty business. This was a super insightful conversation, and I'm so grateful to Dugbe for just sharing a lot of her knowledge and wisdom with us. I'm walking away with a few notes. The first one being treat your staff well. Just treat them well, and have processes in place for hiring, for onboarding, for even releasing as well. And then I think the big one is that um, relationships matter, right? So how you speak to your staff, even how you speak to your clients too, all of those things matter. And then the last one is um, culture is super, super important. And you can say, yes, we are kind, we're nice. But if you are not kind, if you're not nice, if you don't model those things, your staff are not going to do that. Right. So thank you again. I hope this was very, very insightful for everyone that's watching or listening. Follow us on YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also follow and like us on Instagram down there. And we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.